Welcome to Claude Code for Procurement, a beginner's hands-on guide. I am glad you are here. This course is built for procurement professionals who want to stop copying and pasting into chat windows and start building AI systems that actually understand how they work. This is Chapter 1, the Context Architect, and you are in Lesson 6, pointing at data files, instead of repeating them. By the end of this lesson, your 3 category files will describe your data instead of duplicating it, and you will have used Claude to find Maverick spend in your purchase orders in a single sentence. A restaurant pins a printed list of dishes above the stove. Every time the menu changes, somebody has to reprint the list. One day they forget. Now the list is wrong and the chef is following outdated information. The smarter setup is a digital screen wired to the actual database. When a new dish is added, the screen updates on its own. Your CLAUDE.md files are either the printed list or the screen. If you typed your top supplier names and their spend figures into the category file, you have built the printed list. The moment a contract renews, a supplier is added or a spend figure shifts, and in procurement those things move every week. Your CLAUDE.md is wrong. Claude will read it confidently and give you stale answers in a brief that goes to your category lead. This lesson rebuilds your category files as the screen. The CSVs become the single source of truth for the data. CSVs serve as the definitive data source ensuring accuracy. The CLAUDE.md becomes a map pointing at them. When the data changes, you change nothing in the context file. Claude reads the new version automatically. This lesson ensures your category files remain current. The rule for this lesson is one sentence. CLAUDE.md is a map, not a copy. The CSV is the source of truth. When the data changes, Claude reads the new version automatically, and you change nothing in the context file. A wrong CLAUDE.md has outdated data typed straight into the file. When data changes, Claude reads new data automatically. A right CLAUDE.md has one line. suppliers.csv, 50 rows and a list of columns. Always current, same file, same approach for every CSV reference you have written so far. This ensures data accuracy and relevance. A good file reference does 3 things. Get all 3 right and Claude can answer a real data question without guessing. The first is column names. You list every column in the file by name. This is what lets Claude join 2 files together, filter rows, and run a calculation. If the column list is missing or wrong, Claude will guess at column names and the answer will be unreliable. The second is a refresh note. One short line on how often the file updates. This tells you and Claude how current the data is. The third is a last reviewed date. The date you last opened the CSV and confirm the column names still match what you wrote. Think of it like a food expiry date. If you open this file in 3 months and see a review date 6 months old, you know to check whether the columns still match before you trust the answers. 3 things: columns, refresh note, review date. Keep the lines that describe the category as a whole, the purpose of the folder, the kinds of spend it covers, the business rules that apply across every supplier, the names of the CSV files Claude should read. Those stay. Save the file and do the same in logistics.claude.md and then indirect.claude.md. If you are ever unsure whether a line belongs in the file or the CSV, ask one question: does this value already appear somewhere in one of my CSVs? If the answer is yes, delete it from the CLAUDE.md. This ensures data consistency. You have 6 CSV references across the 3 category files, 2 in direct materials, 2 in logistics, 2 in indirect. Each one needs the full shape. Take suppliers.csv as the worked example. The reference names the file and the rough row count. Below that, a columns line lists every field supplier_ID, supplier_name, state, makes, annual_value_ID, contract_end, status. Suppliers list fields like supplier ID, name, state, makes, and others. Refresh note, updated with new supplier additions or contract changes. Reviewed date set to today if reviewing for the first time open files. Check CSVs in editor or spreadsheet tool. Do not write standard columns or leave the list blank. Claude uses those names to join files and run calculations, and a missing or wrong column name turns a clean answer into a guess. Apply the same shape to orders.csv. Then to carriers.csv and shipments.csv in logistics, then to vendors.csv and invoices.csv in indirect. 6 references. Save each file as you finish it. Open your terminal. Change into the Direct Materials folder and start Claude. Then paste this question. Tell me what data files I have here, the columns of each, and how many rows are in each one. Read the files now to confirm row counts. The row counts are the proof. Suppliers.csv should come back at 50 rows. Orders.csv should come back at around 2,500. If Claude returns those numbers, you have your confirmation. Claude is not paraphrasing your CLAUDE.md. It has physically opened the CSVs and counted what is actually there. If Claude reports different row counts or says it cannot read the files, type /exit, run pwd to confirm you are inside Direct Materials and not the practice route. Check that suppliers.csv and orders.csv are both in the folder. And restart Claude. If Claude lists the columns but says it cannot count rows, you almost certainly have a row count typed into the CLAUDE.md itself. Remove it, save, and try again. Row counts always come from the live file, never from the context file. Without quitting Claude, ask the question this entire lesson has been building towards. Look at orders.csv. Are there any suppliers in the orders file whose supplier_ID does not appear in suppliers.csv? If yes, name them. Stop and notice what just happened. You asked Claude to join 2 files, find every row in one that has no matching record in the other, and list the orphans by ID. In Excel, this is a VLOOKUP. Excel finds unmatched rows quickly, handle errors seamlessly in data processing, and a filter. About 20 minutes of work for someone who knows the formulas. And not something most procurement professionals would do for fun. Claude did it in seconds in 1 sentence with no clarifying questions because your CLAUDE.md told it both files exist and which column links them. Any supplier_ID that appears in orders.csv but is missing from suppliers.csv is one of 2 things in the real world. The rule from this lesson is the one you opened with. CLAUDE.md is a map, not a copy. The CSV is the source of truth. The context file is the pointer. The moment you start typing data into the context file, you have built the printed menu list and you will be reading stale answers without realizing it.